Come on in. Welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about the unaired, unseen, and unknown Survivor challenges that you didn't see on TV. I've spent a lot of time talking about some of Survivor's best, worst, and weirdest challenges. But what about the ones that never even made air? Whether they were scrapped due to technical issues, for time, or for some other reason, a handful of Survivor challenges went unaired, starting with the very first season and continuing until at least season 40. We only ever learned about these lost challenges via press photos or post-game interviews, and some of them had a pretty dramatic impact on the game's outcome. One even somewhat directly led to the elimination of a Survivor legend. So today, let's go through Survivor history from season 1 to the present and look at the Survivor challenges that didn't make TV, what we know about them and who won them, and along the way, I'll give my speculation on why they were scrapped from the edit. To be clear, I'll only be listing unaired challenges verified on the Survivor Wiki, the admins of which I'd like to give a shout out to. Videos like this would be so much more difficult to create without their hard work putting all the pieces together. So thanks again to that amazing team. All that said, let's dig into the unaired Survivor challenges that you didn't see on TV. Survivor's history of unaired challenges goes all the way back to episode 2 of Survivor's first season, Survivor Borneo. Yes, Survivor's very first reward challenge ever did not make TV. On day 4 of Borneo, Pagong and Toggy competed in a reward challenge for a map to a closer water source. What, is Kathy somewhere on that island? This challenge was an early variant on Shoulder the Load, a weight-holding challenge where Richard and Joel went head-to-head holding weight on their shoulders for their tribe, while other members of the tribe raced to apply weight to the opposing team's champion. Joel apparently won this for Toggy. Despite very little other info existing about this, we actually do have a single image of this challenge. We can only speculate on why this one was cut. Maybe they needed more time to show Sean fishing in this episode or something, but my guess is that this was cut because those early episodes of Borneo are notorious for poor challenge coverage and production snafus. It's possible they got to the editing bay and realized they just didn't have the visual or audio clarity needed to tell the story of the challenge, and since the reward was only for a freaking map, of which the season already had many, they might have just dropped it for that reason. There's another missing reward challenge from Borneo that we actually did get to see, just not in the episode, is the weight loss guessing challenge on day 32 for a candy bar. This was cut from episode 11, but can be seen in the Greatest and Most Outrageous Moments DVD. In this challenge, Jeff brings out a scale and mirror for the final 6, and they all have to guess how much weight they've lost. Hard to think of a more 2000s challenge than making starving people guess their own weight. This is actually a really cute scene full of awkward early season Jeff as he carefully transcribes how much each player weighs. Colleen won this challenge by guessing within a single pound of her actual weight loss and wins a candy bar, which she shares with everyone. Oh my god, early Jeff is so awkward. He just pulls this candy bar out from behind the mirror. I love this. As far as I can tell, from Borneo all the way through season 37, we saw at least part of every single challenge that was ran, for better or worse. But that changed in season 38, Survivor Edge of Extinction, when a challenge was cut on day 26 in episode 9. This challenge was originally revealed in War Dog's long-form post-game interview with the Survivor specialists, but most of what we know about this comes from Lauren's quarantine questionnaire for EW. We know that this challenge was a 3v3v3 version of Faulty Towers, where players take turns tossing coconuts into a basket until enough weight drops to release puzzle pieces, which must then be solved. This reward challenge was for cheeseburgers and cheesecake. You know, that classic combo, and was won by the trio of Gavin, Lauren, and Wentworth, who were able to choose another person to join them. they chose Julie. It's this decision which really shored up an alliance between these four. That's why they're the only ones to vote for Aurora this episode, and which also served as the catalyst for War Dog turning on Wentworth, who figured that he was on the bottom of a group including the Lesu Three, Gavin, Julie, and Ron, after he wasn't chosen for the reward. This is probably the most important reward of the season, so why was it cut? Well, we have a pretty solid guess for this one. The original double boot episode for EOE was planned for the final 10 and 11 of the season, which were the Julia and David boots. But because the Julia tribal popped off so hard, this is the 20-minute long Pilots and Passengers live tribal, the decision was made in post to make that its own episode so they could do one of the best tribals of all time justice. And instead, the following two boots, David and Wentworth, became the double tribal instead. This is also why there's no reward challenge in episode 8, because it was the original double boot. Now, with two tribals sending home the last two returning players in the game, there was simply no room to put in this reward challenge, making this, like Julia, a casualty of an unusually good tribal council. The next season, Survivor Island of the Idols cranked things up even further with a record 3 unseen challenges, and you'll never guess who's responsible for us not seeing them. The first of these unseen rewards was a pizza reward on day 17. We know about this one from promotional stills released by the show itself. This was a variant of flips, flops, and flags where the players have to maneuver a large wooden cube through an obstacle course, then land sandbags on a platform. And this was probably cut from the episode for Janet's Island of the Idols visit. 2 challenges and a visit to a third location is a tough balancing act for 42 minutes. The next unaired reward challenge came on day 23 in episode 8, a post-merge team variant of When It Rains, It Pours. The team of Tommy, Dean, Nora, Dan, Elaine, and Elizabeth won this challenge, which was for pizza and beer. This would have been smack dab in the middle of the infamous merge episode of Island of the Idols, the consensus worst episode of all time with the Kelly and Dan situation, and I'll just say this episode already had enough going on and enough Dan already, so it's understandable that this one was cut. There was one last reward challenge cut for time from this season on day 33 in episode 13. This was a spa reward won by Tommy, Dean, and Nora in a challenge where the players had to race through an obstacle course and then knock down a block pyramid with beanbags. This is the episode where Dan is ejected at the end, and this episode ends not with tribal council, but with Jeff informing the remaining players that Dan has been removed. So that would be my guess as to why we didn't see this reward. Again, an episode needlessly overstuffed due to Dan drama, so we'll just have to forever wonder what happened on that spa visit. Did they get a face mask? Cucumbers in their eyes? We may never know for sure. The next season, Survivor Winners at War had 2 unseen challenges that we know about thanks to this calendar that we saw on the show. The first was on day 17 in episode 7, which we know was a version of Losing Face, aka the Giant Slingshot Challenge from promotional stills, and that it was for pizza, which we know courtesy of the calendar. We also know that Yara won this challenge and Sele came in second from Dalton Ross's EW recap. It's kind of a bummer this one was cut. Sandra and Parvati were voted out the night before, so this would have been the challenge when everyone saw that. I can only imagine some of the reactions as 2 more old school legends left the game. My guess as for why this was cut is because of the lengthy segment on Edge of Extinction, where Boston Rob finds a bunch of fire tokens. CBS ponied up for the Marianos to be out there. They were both voted out early, and goddamn it, they're gonna get their money's worth. The calendar shows us another unaired challenge on day 26 in episode 11 for tacos, which was won by Ben, Nick, Kim, and Sophie. According to Sophie's AMA on Reddit, this was, quote, a 3-legged race crawling through a maze that ended in a slingshot or something of the sort. Ben basically won it for us. This challenge was during This Is Extortion, the Oops All Tony episode where his game and edit kick into high gear with the Sophie blindside, so my guess is it was determined that watching Ben eat a quesadilla was significantly less entertaining than watching Tony do anything, so it got the boot. There was one last reward cut from Winners at War, this time at the final 6. We actually saw this challenge, but as part of Michelle's immunity win at Final 6, she also got to share a reward with 2 people of her choosing. I'll just let her do the talking. Quote, "When I won immunity, I also won reward, and I won it with Denise and Sarah, and we got plastered drunk, and we had a fucking great time." You're telling me they cut a Michelle getting drunk scene on the challenge where she kicked over the Michelle puzzle? I'm sorry, but this has to be some sort of discrimination. There we have it. As far as I know, every single unseen and unaired challenge that was cut from Survivor. It's possible there are more, but these are the challenges that have been 100% verified to exist with receipts. With the 90-minute episodes now the norm, I kinda doubt any rewards will go completely unshown in the new era anytime soon, but I suppose you never know. Although, when the new era rewards are giving this hard, I'm gonna guess they'll keep making the air.
I'm pissed! Y'all say you ain't gone without eating? I see you eat every day!
Got nothing else for ya. Which of these lost challenges and rewards would you have wanted to see most? Which ones are you good without? Let me know. Until next time, don't get idled out.